Today we're looking at the Sublue Vapor and the Sublue Navbow. We're comparing this into an in-depth review of the two underwater scooters. Hey, Torben here from Divein, the place where we test and review dive gear to give you all the best inside the diving world, whether that be underwater scooters, other dive gear, or of course your next diving or snorkeling destination. Today we're putting the Sublue Vapor and the Navbow head to head. One is a luxury powerhouse and the other is a flight-ready all-rounder underwater scooter. In this video, I'll go through how these two compares, what the speed of them, how long they run for, so the battery test that we've been doing. Basically, you'll know everything you need to know about the Sublue Vapor or the Navbow. So let's dive in. Here at Divein, we give a lot of our gear away as well, and in this video, I'm giving away a Sublue White Shark Mix underwater scooter. So at some point in this video, I'll let you know how you can get your hands on this underwater scooter, so make sure you watch the whole thing. So first impressions, when you unbox the Vapor, you get a high-end glossary product. You open up the big styrofoam box it comes in, that's really good at protecting it. You pull up this one, it's heavy, it feels like a serious piece of underwater scooter. I think it's the heaviest one I've tested so far, and you can really feel that it's premium. It has this nice large screen, big compartment for the battery, really big battery as well. You have all your accessories inside the box, well and protected. Same thing when you look at the Navbow, it's in a gray styrofoam, not as big as the Vapor's box. It has two openings, so one for the charging or all the battery compartments, and on the other side you open that one up and then you have the scooter and all the other accessories, extra weights, a lanyard and so on. And for the Navbow, you got this lightweight feel to it. It's not as heavy. Still, it has a nice shape of it, so it feels like, or it looks like a fun thing. Now let's talk about the speed, because this is where the numbers really tells the story. So the Vapor is the fastest single engine scooter that we tested so far. It got serious power, strong pull, even for a bigger person like me. So we tested it in our 25-meter pool. I'm a rather large person, 95 kilos, 220 pounds. And then my son Carl, age of 10, 40 kilos. When we look at the numbers in gear one, so it has 3 gear settings. In gear one, I did the 25 meters in 21.5 seconds. In gear two, I did it in 18.2 seconds. And in gear three, I did it in 15.5 seconds. That's super fast. Carl, he did gear one, 18.5 seconds. Gear two, 14.75 seconds. And gear three, he did that in 13 seconds. As I mentioned in the beginning, 13 seconds. That's the fastest runtime we've ever done for one of these underwater scooters, and this is impressive. When you're in the water with this one, you just feel the speed. When you're in the water, when you're running this one, it's so fast, it's so amazing. So the Vapor is really a powerhouse of an underwater scooter. But the Navbow did not underperform as well. So when we tested, it has 3 speed modes. So it has free, sports, and turbo. When I did the testing on the free mode, I got 29 seconds. On sports modes, I got 23 seconds. On turbo mode, I got 19 seconds. So as you can see, compared to the Vapor, it's not as fast. Carl, on the other hand, he did the free mode in 26 seconds. He did the sports mode in 20 seconds and the turbo mode in 16.1 seconds. So a lot faster. Of course, he's way smaller than I am. So while the Navbow is not as fast as the Vapor, it really holds up. If you want to look at some of the other ones as well, I'll be linking up the full video up here for our underwater scooter, so you can check out some of the other ones later on. Now, in terms of this speed, this is really cranking a lot of power. The 2 engines for the Navbow really means you have a lot of grip or a lot of power, but how does it handle? How is it in the water? When we're talking about the Navbow, you have a dual handle. There's 2 thrusters on it. You need to pull both of them to accelerate, but you can also set it to a one-hand setting, which means you only need one of them. That's really good when you need to equalize. And because it's held like that, you can actually let go of one and equalize. Giving a car wouldn't be able to do that, but I can hold it in shortly without turning too much. The thing is, if you let go, you go one direction. I can do that by holding on firm grip, and the equalizing car can't do that. In terms of navigating underwater, the Navbow has this arrow-like shape, which means when you pull up or down, it reacts straight away, and you can really get a flying feeling that's in the pool when you're out snorkeling with this. When you really feel like you're gliding around, that's a fantastic feeling to have in the water. I really love that, kind of this Superman feeling flying around. When we look at the Vapor, it's so much more powerful. Even though it has all this power, as soon as you hold on both handles, you can still do turns. You can maneuver with it. You stop, and you stop quite fast as well. In terms of safety, that's really nice that it doesn't continue long after you stop running. And even Carl, at the age of 10, can control the Vapor without any issues. He could do spins, do turns, sharp turns in the pool when he's at the end, no problems. steering this one, even with all the power that it's packing. Keep in mind, Carl has been using underwater scooters more than most people, in fact, because he does test a lot with me. But still, he was able to pull all of this power and control that. Battery test, when we're talking about this, because that's super important, how long are you getting in the water with these scooters? We ran the Vapor in the tub and we got 30 minutes and 15 seconds on one run in full speed. That was from 100 to 0 all the way down. That's a long time compared to the power it's packing. When we're using that one, we get between 22 to 30 minutes when we're using that one. So when it's pulling someone, it's not the same as a shield test. We do get less time than what we got in the test. But the test really shows what the battery can do and how powerful, how big this battery is. When we look at the Navbow, in our test, we got 21 minutes. So that's less than what they promised, but again, in full speed running, and we don't run it in slower speeds. So that will give, I'm sure if you run lower speeds, you'll get the 60 minutes. So both batteries are promising what Sublue is stating, and you really get a lot of power. And because of the speeds are so high, you do get a lot. Let's talk about how they actually act. How can you use them? So in terms of buoyancy, how are they acting in the water? Do they float? Do they sink? Both of these underwater scooters are positively buoyant. That's not common for the smaller underwater scooters that we usually test, which means if you drop them, it will slowly go to the surface. For the Navbow, you get in the box an adjustable weight. So when you put that on, it becomes quite near neutral, which means you can use it for scuba diving or you can use it in the water. I like the slight positive buoyant when I'm playing around snorkeling or the kids are using it, because if they let go, it will go up. For the Vapor, that's the same thing. It's slightly positive buoyant. And you can adjust it for diving by just putting on a small carabiner. It doesn't require more than just that weight, and that will make it neutral buoyant as well. So that's a good tip for that. In terms of the screen, the really big screen on the Vapor, that's really one of the things that Carl is highlighting as one of his big favorites. So you got a lot of data on that one. You got your speed gear setting, you got battery remaining, and then you have a compass in the middle that's also showing tilt headings. It also shows depth and then a temperature. So that's a lot of data to put on a screen, and to be honest, Carl saw it as way more fun than I think I did. I liked it, but for me, it's more a gadget. He loved playing around and kind of feeling like he was a submarine or something like that. In terms of the Navbow, it has a lot less data, but it's basically showing you your speed setting and your remaining battery, but on a really clear OLED screen that sits in front of the scooter, which means you have to pull it down a bit to look down straight at it, but it shows really nice and really clear reading. That's a good sign, something we sometimes are missing with some of these underwater scooters. Now, if I put them side by side, basically, the Vapor is the fastest underwater scooter we tested, and it has so much power, you can't believe it. The Navbow is more it's not slow, but it's definitely more the travel-friendly opponent to that. It has good speeds because it has the two thrusters. That really gives a lot. Buoyancy, they're both slightly positive buoyant, so that doesn't affect that much of either, and you can make them, both of them, neutral buoyant, meaning they will stay neutral in the water, not sink or float. Travel-wise, the Vapor is not travel-friendly. The battery is too big to travel or to fly with, which means you have to move it by land or on boats. The Navbow, on the other hand, is flight safe, so you can bring the battery. Just make sure you bring it on your carry-on or in your carry-on luggage. You cannot check it in. Battery-wise, I think both held up way more. The Vapor with 30 minutes in our test, and the Navbow with 21 minutes. That's more than a lot of other underwater scooters we tested, and definitely a lot when you're considering that you're being pulled in this speed, considering how tired you're going to be afterwards. And if you want more power or longer run time, to slow down the speed, and you get plenty. The Vapor comes in around 19 pounds or 8.6 kilos, which means you can carry it, but it is heavy to have on land. The Navbow, on the other hand, is 10 pounds and 4.5 kilos. So it's a lot easier to handle on land as well, where the Vapor is a bit heavy. Price-wise, the cost of the Vapor comes in around $3,000, depending on where you're looking at, and that's steep. The Navbow, on the other hand, is priced in around $1,000 or $999. So that's definitely a price jump as well. The Vapor is by far the most expensive underwater scooter we looked at so far here at Divein. Again, I have the full video, I'll link that up, or look up on Divein.com all the underwater scooters that we've been testing here, because you really get a sense of which one is fastest, which one has the features that you are needing for your needs. Now, time for White Shark Mini Mix. How can you get your hands on this beautiful underwater scooters? You have to do 3 simple things. First up, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Again, it's a White Shark mix that's in this giveaway. Second, in the comments below, tell us which of these underwater scooters you would prefer. Is it the Vapor or the Navbow, and why? Last but not least, in the description below, there's a link to our newsletter. Sign up for that because it's in the newsletter that will announce who won out of the comments. So make sure you read the emails as well. That's all I had for this review of the Sublue Vapor and Navbow.